What is it that's stopping you from finding true happiness? Perhaps it's what your father said to you before he left to get some milk and cigarettes from the store. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is a bunch of baloney. The actual reason you're a hopeless pile of garbage is that you haven't played Expedition 33. And as with any good intervention, I wrote my reasons down on why you should change your ways. Because, well, you deserve better.
Reason number 1 on why you should play Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is the art style. This take on a steampunk post-apocalyptic world has got me staring into the distance for minutes at a time. The town of Lumiere is both so homey and also oh so lonely. Perfect place for a little old Bebo to call home. Reason number 2 is its combat interface. Bringing up the menus around the character like this makes you feel way more involved in the combat. Something that might sound trivial but works perfectly with the world they've built. I've always felt like the interfaces in games like Final Fantasy could benefit from something like this, and man, they just nailed it. But that crap wouldn't matter at all if not for reason number 3, which is the story premise. The idea that a godlike figure in the horizon is counting down the age of all people who get to live for that year is just so freaking cool. If you can just stop the paintress, then you can stop this endless cycle of impending doom that looms over the increasingly younger population. Still not convinced? Well, maybe reason number 4 will change that, which is the price. This bad boy doesn't cost $80. Hell, it doesn't even cost $60. 50 pictures of George Washington is all it's gonna take to pick this game up. What is that, like the price of one Fortnite skin? And to make it even better, you can get it for free on Game Pass if you have a subscription. And for all you story nerds out there, we have reason number 5, which is the lore. There are collectible journals littered about your journey, and if you happen to pick them up, you'll hear a delightful tidbit of dialogue from previous expeditioners that will give way more context to the area you're in and help fill in those gaps. I normally skip over crap like this in games, but I found myself glued to every bit of information my grubby little hands could find, and I think you will too. Which brings me to reason number 6, which is the voice acting. I myself, being an English enjoyer, was constantly amazed by the performance that these characters gave, from Daredevil and Gollum alike, including those from the journal entries, which made the already engrossing story even more enjoyable. But taking a break from gushing on the story is reason number 7, and that's the elemental skill system. If you're a fan of RPGs or just played Pokemon Red that one time 20-something years ago, you'll be delighted to find a familiar way of doing the damages. I always love these kinds of systems because it naturally forces you to find your ideal playstyle. We all know that big fire blasts are always the way to go, but maybe you fancy yourself some big skadooshes with some rocks instead. You definitely will be rewarded for doing your homework on your enemy's weaknesses so you can deviously exploit it and take all their stuff. And speaking of exploiting weaknesses, brings us to reason number 8, which is the free aim ability. All of your characters have the ability to not only bonk on the head with their attacks, but also shoot from afar with some FPS shenanigans. This mechanic can be extremely useful depending on the enemy you're facing, and can even be further built into if you want, so you don't ever have to worry about getting those precious hands dirty ever again. Another way you can keep those mittens of yours in pristine condition is reason number 9, which is the parrying system. In this game, you will deal with a multitude of baddies that have a laundry list of attacks for you to memorize. Whether it's slow or fast-moving combos, nearly every attack can be countered with a parry or dodge as long as you get the timing just right, rewarding your patience and experience with a super satisfying blow to the enemy's private parts. And speaking of private parts, that brings us to reason number 10, which is the precise number of times your mom and I got down last night. That was a lie. She has not spoken to me for many months. I miss you, Sabrina. Please come back. But the actual reason number 10 is the enemy variety. Across your adventures, you will find no shortage of ghouls and goblins alike. Even within the same zone, you'll deal with a bunch of different kinds of enemies that will surely keep you on your toes. So searching for that last collectible is even more enjoyable and way more memorable. Reason number 11.
Okay, seriously, like, are you still not playing this game? Really?
We're just gonna move on with boss fights. These guys normally come along with some unique mechanics that will force you to change up your playstyle or roster. Or if you're like me, you'll repeatedly smack your head into a wall until you perfectly parry every attack like a madman. Their over-the-top design gives Dark Souls vibes mixed with fever dream tomfoolery like you've never seen. And of course, speaking of things that are never seen, let's give it up for my boy number 12, which is the Battle Pass, or lack thereof. Yep, that's right, this game has no Battle Pass. I'm sorry, Fortnite fans, I guess you'll have to spend your money somewhere else because in a strange move, the developers for this game decided to ship a finished product. I know, it's strange for me to even say those words. But something that's not strange to see, however, is reason number 13, and that being the linear game progression. Video games have been trending towards everything being open world. And of course, there's lots of pros that come along with all of that. But I think you can also lose out on some of the story's delivery. Expedition 33 has elements of open world that will allow you to explore optional zones as you progress, but will help keep you on track if you end up getting too distracted. But don't worry if you do, because reason number 14 will reward you with in-game cosmetics. Yeah, you heard me right. You can find new outfits and hairstyles if that's your thing all throughout the world. I know what you're thinking, but Bebo, isn't there some way I could just pay an extra $20 to buy the ones I want? And no, there's not, and you're stupid for asking such a stupid question. Stupid. Reason number 15 is the soundtrack. Something I don't usually notice in games, but once again, they knocked it out of the park with these tracks. Yeah, I have completely no idea what they're saying, man, but it sure sounds pretty. Apparently the composer was a dude they just found on SoundCloud and has never done a soundtrack before. Bro could have fooled me. Which brings me on to reason number 16, which is the overall fidelity. I know we've grown accustomed to fancy graphics and crazy refresh rates, but need I remind you that this was achieved by a team of 30 people? This runs and plays better than most AAA games, with all the graphic settings cranked up, and it just looks amazing. But none of that crap would matter if the progression system was crap, so that brings us to reason number 17, and that being the Picto system. You and your squad will find these shiny little things called Pictos that you can assign to your character. Level them up by winning a few rounds, and you'll be able to dole out that power to any of your squad mates. These can vary from small stat bumps to game-changing mechanics, so keep your eyes peeled for them. Which brings us to the lightning round, because this video is getting way too long and you should be playing this game already. Relationship building, secret bosses, alternate endings, perfect base difficulty, new game plus, platforming, collectible showcasing, amazing cutscenes, gesturals, swimsuits, contributes to your 401k, ends world hunger, walks your dog, walks your neighbor's dog, preps all your meals and lunches,
And last of all, you'll stop being a worthless pile of garbage.